Welcome to Big Beats Fucking Metal Show. Welcome to Big Beats Fucking Metal Show.
Yo, what up guys, and welcome back to Big Pete's Metal Show. I'm joined here today by Rick, and today we're going to continue the top 10 of previous years, where I rank every single year in metal. Top 10, sometimes it could be top 20, and in some rare cases we'll get to a top 30. Yep. So today we're going to do 1985. And boy, what a good year in metal this was. Now, I might get some shit for my first pick, number 10, but you know, you just gotta love the Crew, because we got Motley Crue's Theater of Pain. And this is such a classic album, at least right in the middle of the 80s. You know, I love Motley Crue. It might be glam metal, although most metalheads will like to remove the metal from that, but, you know, they're pretty hard rockers, and I like them. And Rick, it's time for you to leave. Say bye. No Annihilator today. Annihilator's his favorite band. Number 9, we got a side project of the Anthrax boys, Scott Ian, Charlie Benante, looking at you. And Dan Loker, by the way. Love Dan Loker. Love you. We got SOD, known as Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die. Now this album is what you call the crossover thrash. A lot of the songs are very short. It's a very short album. It's about 28 minutes. And it's got like fucking 23 tracks. So, you know, it's that kind of album. And, you know, it's just really heavy shit. And it's hilarious. And it's just blatantly offensive, but that's the way it's meant to be, because it's meant to mock racism and, you know, all the fucked up shit. And it's, you know, classic album. I shouldn't have to say much more about it, because who the fuck doesn't already know. Number 8, we got German Thrasher's debut album, Infernal Overkill. That, of course, being Destruction. This is the Sentence of Death cover, but this CD has got the Sentence of Death and Infernal Overkill on it. So yeah, I'm a little salty that Infernal Overkill isn't the main cover, it's on the back, but oh well. But this is a fantastic album, and for these guys being not on a label at the time, being independent, it sure made an impact, and it sure is a great record. Number 7, we have the late great Ronnie James Dio with his album Sacred Heart with Dio. And, you know, it's just, I need to include Dio on this list because I just love him so much. I love all his work. I love all the Dio albums, the Ronnie James Dio Black Sabbath, Rainbow, Elf. Not a lot of people know about that anymore, but yeah, Ronnie James Dio, such a great guy. Put my horns up for you. Number 6, we have another debut album by German thrashers Creator, Endless Fucking Pain. Minus the fucking, Endless Pain was a fantastic record when it first came out. And if I'm understanding correctly, I think all the guys in the band were like 17, 18 at the time this was released. So that's pretty impressive. They did a hell of a job. And, you know, while this isn't nearly as good, this probably isn't even in the top 5 Creator albums. It's such a great album, and Creator is such a great band, and definitely good shit. Number 5, we have the second sophomore album by Slayer, known as Hell Awaits. And, you know, this was a very different album from the Show No Mercy, following up on their previous release. It was this more technical, a lot more complex songs, longer tracks, only 7 tracks on the album as opposed to 10 and on the previous album, and we have a longer runtime, I think, than Show No Mercy. And, you know, just to throw another thing out there, Slayer is retiring, and that's kind of sad because fucking Slayer. But number 5, Hell Awaits. Number 4, we have the angry Dave Mustaine's first album with Megadeth, killing is my business, and business is good. Now, this album came out 1985, and, you know, first Megadeth album. Megadeth is one of my favorite bands, and, you know, I just have to put them on the list. Well, this isn't even in my top 5 Megadeth records, but for 1985, this album was incredible, and it really came storming onto the scene, especially with what they put out the year later. Now, getting into number 3, we have Bobby Blitz and the Wrecking Crew, Overkill, with their debut album, Feel the Fire. Now, this is like straight up thrash, mixed with some punk, mixed with some other shit, and, you know, it's just a fantastic record. It's phenomenal shit, and for the time, I think it was a really, really strong, solid effort. It really solidified what thrash was, especially for 1985. But we'll get to more of that in a second, because with number 2, we have Anthrax's Spreading the Disease. This is a notable album for being Joey Belladonna's first record with Anthrax after Neil Turbin left the band. And this is just full of classics like AIR, Lone Justice, Madhouse, Armed and Dangerous, Gung Ho. So many great songs. Joey's vocals are outstanding, and the riffs and the playing by Dan Spitz and Scott Ian, Charlie Benante's drumming, even Frank Bellows' bass. This, you know, Anthrax is definitely one of my favorite bands of all time, and this album really just proves my point. Number 1, if it wasn't obvious enough already, if you know your 1985 metal, we have Bonded by Blood by Exodus. This is also a debut album by Exodus, and arguably one of the best thrash metal albums of all time. Gary Holt and the boys were, this album was delayed. It could have been released in 1984 as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, but it came out in 1985, and this is just the pure embodiment of evil thrash metal. It's the type of shit that your mom would hear and make you want to clean your ears out and fucking purge you of Satan. That's basically what this album was, and still is. And it's the only album with vocalist Paul Baloff. Rip him. He passed away in 2001, I believe. But the only studio album with him on it, and, you know, you just gotta give mad props to Exodus for putting out such an amazing and such an impactful record. That's my list for 1985, mostly thrash metal. But I'll see you again tomorrow, where I'll be talking about the Havoc concert. It'll most likely be a concert vlog. Havoc is back in town, and I'm gonna fucking see him, you bet your ass. That'll do it for today. Until next time, keep it brutal and stay metal. Peace.